shoes behind me. That section of the room isn't nearly as neat as I'd like it right now. Guess things can't always be the way we want them to be. Certainly, things don't always go as planned, and area in the room might not be as neat as we'd like or what have you, but we keep rolling. We keep doing our thing. We keep learning a little bit every day. Keep discovering a thing or two about ourselves and the world around us. Am I comfortable in this spot? Am I comfortable in this spot? I don't think I am. I'm trying a different spot this morning. I'm feeling a little insecure. I'm talking towards the door of my room. I'm feeling the people in the hallway, if there were any people in the hallway, could hear me. I don't like that. I'm going to move, so hang with me. 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 I don't know. Maybe it's that I want to slouch a little more. Not that slouching is a greatly admirable trait or personality type, but I just feel I'd be a little more comfortable sitting down in my easy chair, taking my first sip of coffee on a Saturday morning. Yeah, say there you go. Hey, good morning, Josh. How are you? Good morning, Stumpy. It's early today. Thought about not going live. I've had a great audience here on TikTok the last week or so. Great audience. Yesterday I was averaging about 90 people an hour watching my show. I don't even know why. But I've been going live at like 6 o'clock, maybe 6 to 6:30 my time. I'm coming at you from Naperville, Illinois, which is Central Standard, just outside of Chicago. And I have it, 90 plus people watching me on my lives feels pretty good. Makes me feel like I almost have something to say. And because of that, when I woke up this morning, I woke up real early. I went to bed real early. We'll get to that in a minute. But I woke up real early and felt fairly comfortable, but kind of thought about life and thought about my work and thought about content creation and thought about what I enjoyed about the work I do, waiting tables. Good morning, Tony. And decided to get up, even though it's just after 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and get started, make the coffee, make my bed, and get after it. So, good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Saturday morning. It is November 2nd. It is 5:06 a.m. Happy Saturday. This is a little show I've been doing for quite some time. Good morning, Highland. It's a show about me talking. It's a show about me sharing some feelings, sharing some ups and downs, sharing kind of the craziness that goes through one man's mind. And the craziness that goes through one man's mind as he weaves his way down the path that is life. But for those that have been watching a while, it is not just a show about me talking. It is also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I have a nice hot cup of coffee in front of me, and I am so excited to have my first sip. My hope is wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh, it's the pumpkin spice. Starbucks. They're coming out with the winter flavors and getting rid of the fall flavors. And yesterday I went in a store, and it was like, I don't know, they're charging like $12 or $12.99 for a bag of Starbucks these days. Can't be a good thing. But it was like buy one, get one free. And there was both the pumpkin spice and the peppermint mocha on the stand. Thought about it. Chose not to. You know, almost wish I had, just so I could have broken into the peppermint mocha today. But then again, I have like 5 or 6 bags of coffee on my counter. I got a lot of work to do. I mean, literally and figuratively. Tony Chi-Town is going down to U of I today to visit his daughter in the school and watch the Illini game. Well, go Illini. I think they play Minnesota today. And after a rough week last week, they have a chance to get back on a winning streak, so it's a big game. You don't want to be losing 2 in a row. You know, you can brush off a loss to Penn State and a loss to Oregon in a season, and finish out the year 9-2 or something like that. You're going to a good bowl game, and that'd be exciting. Luke wants to know if Iowa State wins tomorrow. I assume they play today. I hope they win. My oldest goes to Iowa State. I almost find myself cheering as much for Iowa State as Illinois. Not quite as much, but almost as much, because I'm picturing my oldest. I have 4 beautiful kids, and my oldest is a freshman at Iowa State this year, and having a great time and experiencing all the fun things you do when you get away from your parents and you get away from home and you go live out on your own for the first time. And you're not having to go to high school from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You only go 2 or 3, maybe 3 hours a week. And the rest of that time you're supposed to be studying or something. But I think it's really learning about yourself and developing who you are as a human being. And I'll tell you what, my oldest is becoming a human being I'm very proud of. And excited for her to be at school, excited that her football team, Iowa State's doing real well, and excited for her life. So that is right, Lucky 7. It's almost a distraction. Depending on the day, I decide what I'm going to wear before my show. And I thought I'd pop on my jeans. I just woke up 20 minutes ago or so. I popped on jeans and this sweatshirt and thought, hey, when I zip it up, it looks kind of nice. Hey, thanks so much for following the Live Creator Tea Time. I go live every morning on TikTok, and I talk for half an hour to an hour and a half maybe. And my page grows every day, and it feels really good when people follow the Live Creator. So thank you for doing that. And again, I have a lot of fun doing it. I started doing this show 5 years ago, and 5.5 years ago when I was living in a dark apartment, and I started on a different social media platform, and I just kind of did it as a lark. And people started watching, and people started relating to me or saying I have a nice voice, or some people actually started hating on me too, and have been following me since because they hated me so much. But anyway, and so my show keeps growing. And I keep going live, and now I go live every day. And it feels good watching the show grow.
And I've done various jobs in my life. I went to U of I, yay, and got a finance degree in 1990. And after that, left and went into the world of Wall Street. I wasn't on Wall Street. I was on LaSalle Street in Chicago, which is kind of the Wall Street of Chicago, and cold calling and, soliciting the heck out of people across the country every day. Because we knew they wouldn't be calling us. We knew they wouldn't be calling us to be buying anything. And so we had to go out and get them. So we did. And we made a lot of money, but the nature of the beast was they were going to end up losing money because it was a super high commission oriented business. And if it's the way you get commissions is doing lots of transactions, and doing lots of transactions usually doesn't work out real well for the clients, not when it comes to investing, at least not that I knew how to do. So I did that for about 10 years. And by the end of it, I was burnt out. The phone looked like a anvil, and I couldn't pick it up again. And I had a lot of stocks go down significantly. And I mean, when I mean significantly, I mean like cut in half in a day. And we were on margin, and our clients had margin calls. And I had to make calls to clients that I almost couldn't make anymore to break bad news to somebody. And there was one client who lived in New Jersey at the time who had two of my positions almost get caught and cut in half. And we had to liquidate his account or else it would have gone into negative equity. And I remember calling him and telling him and feeling horrible. But I learned to handle this well, breaking bad news. I don't know if that's a skill you want to learn to handle in life, but I learned to just because I did it all the time. And he said he wished he would have never met me. And that didn't feel good because he wasn't just being a grumpy client or customer at a restaurant but he meant it, and I didn't blame him. I didn't blame him for that. Still don't. Still feel bad. Still feel bad for a lot of the things that happened during those 10 years. And don't like feeling bad, so here I am, and I kept going. Which brought me to 1999. Couldn't stand what I was doing as a stockbroker anymore. Sold my car. It was a Mercedes SL 500. Paid off some debts. Still had 30 grand left over. Put it in the stock market. Quickly turned the 30 into 14. Within 2 months' time, I'm going, this isn't going well. But over the next 2.5 months, I turned the 14 into 100. And I think at that point, I said, hey, I'm making a lot of money doing this. Let's leave the brokerage business. I don't think I'd left it yet at that point. But let's do this full time. And over the next 12 months, turned that 100 into $1 million. And thought I was smart. Thought I'd figured it out. Thought the real estate, not real estate, thought the stock market was easy and I'd cracked the code. Then the bubble popped on the internet boom, and all the IPOs that were coming out during that time that are mostly gone. But it was the time where some huge companies were born, like Amazon and eBay and others. It was before Facebook, which is hard to believe. It was before social media. It was before MySpace. So really, that tech bubble led to some huge things that ended up changing the world a little bit. But most of the companies didn't change the world. Most of the companies went away. So anyway, when the bubble popped, my account started drifting down, and I realized I couldn't do this forever, especially if I don't have any more money in my account. Bounced around for a few years, tried some different things, waited tables. I'd waited tables once in college. So I waited tables at an Italian restaurant. I was just newly married and needed a job. And waited tables at a Clara's Pasta in Woodridge, Illinois, which was in a little dive strip mall. Great food, amazing food. And it was a relatively young restaurant at the time. I think it might have been around for, 12 or 13 years at that point. But amazing food and, opportunity for somebody that's hustling to make some decent money. And I certainly wanted to hustle and make some decent money, so I did that for a while. But still had a desire for something more. And desire for something more, and maybe hadn't fully given up on the wear the suit and tie, finance, job, stock brokerage, commission-based business. And interviewed with Chase Bank and was hired as a financial advisor and was put into a sleepy little location in Lamont, Illinois, and was called team leader, where I'm supposed to lead the tellers and the bankers and the bank manager into fully involving themselves in the sale of investments and getting away from typical bank products and more into mutual funds and annuities, because they were higher margin products for the bank. But this bank had been there a long time and had been owned by several different corporations over that time. It was a Gary Wheaton, and it was a Bank One, and eventually became a Chase, and then became a J.P. Morgan Chase. And the people had been there a long time, and they didn't want to change their ways. And they kind of looked at me as a fresh-faced, energetic, enthusiastic guy that told them to sell investments, and they're going, hey. Or I can sit here and take this person's deposit and get paid just about the same and not have to explain to them what a, mutual fund was. And that was tough for me. And I did that for a year, and I felt some really hard times personally for me, or emotionally or spiritually. And this, I used to struggle going in and be dreading going in. Because for me, it was the environment there sucked the soul of who I was. And didn't like it at all. The people were nice, but it was, I'd say, extremely low energy and quiet. And I'm high energy and loud, and probably didn't fit in there very well. It's a recurring theme. So I kicked around, did a few other things. Went to work for my dad in a printing store in Villa Park. He owned a printing store at that time. Was super excited about the possibility of running a business because I thought it was so neat. But I had all these other ideas that weren't my dad's ideas and wanted to put them to work, and caused my dad and I to butt heads. And so I left there, didn't know what I was going to do, and thought about open my own printing store and reinventing the wheel. And I talked to some people, and it felt like, printing's business to be in right now. And remember, this is the early 2000s. We hadn't really even, email was fairly newish. Scanning wasn't done yet. We still faxed. Social media wasn't here. And I'm in a business that's printing things out on paper that was about to change. And although there's still printers out there, I'm sure the way they do their business has changed a lot. Yeah. But anyway, I thought about selling my home and moving. And my wife and I were considering moving. My wife at the time and I were considering moving to Michigan. And kind of simplifying life and moving to a pretty area and chopping wood and finding a way. Up by Traverse City, maybe. Kind of looked at homes, thought about it. Popped our home on for sale by owner. Put up a for sale by owner and printed out some brochures. It's a townhome in Lisle, Illinois, in a little neighborhood called River Bend that we enjoyed a lot. And this was a booming time in the real estate market. And everyone was looking. Homes were going up, being built, and buyers and sellers transactions were happening left and right. It was an exciting time in real estate. Cars would drive slowly through my neighborhood. And I would run them down. I'd sit on my patio or my front deck, and if a car was driving slowly by and I saw anybody looking up at my house, I'd get out there and run out. Or if I'd walk around the neighborhood with a folder filled with, a brochure and what have you, and just, hey, you want to come look at my house? I never really believed in waiting for business to come to me. For business to come to me, I don't lay in wait. I think I'm naturally more of a hunter and would rather go out and look for prey than sit and hope it comes across right in front of my mouth. So I'd go and pursue business and hosted an open house and did everything I could to promote it and had people coming through. And somebody said, hey, you love this so much, you should be a realtor. And I said, that seems kind of interesting. It's your own business. It's in real estate. It's a booming market. So I got my real estate license and sold houses for 17 years. And did okay with that. I envisioned myself bringing my sales experience from the brokerage business into real estate and doing it better and harder and maybe lower cost for the consumer and reinvent the wheel again. And I think it's hard when you're always trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's also hard for a guy that's wants to get up and make a difference and change the world to just sit and kind of do what everybody else is doing. So I did that for 17 years. And did okay. But not great. And didn't love it. Didn't love it at all. As a matter of fact, didn't like it really. I mean, I liked the flexible schedule and the unlimited upside and earning potential, but certainly didn't love it. So I left that coming up on 3 years ago. And 2 years prior, I'd started a show, as I talked about earlier, started talking to my phone on Saturday mornings and named it Coffee with Ken. And anything I'd done, even despite the financial success, me talking on a Saturday morning about life and about relationships and financial highs and lows and real estate and the stock market and having kids and getting a divorce seemed to connect with people and seemed to make a difference and felt good for me, like I was changing the world a little bit and making the world a better place a little bit. And started a dream, started building a dream. I was going through my second divorce at this time. And finalized my second divorce just as I was leaving real estate. Again, just about 3 years ago right now. That was a hard time. Finalized my divorce, was no longer selling real estate, had this little embryonic coffee talk show named Coffee with Ken that I believed in, but knew it didn't pay the bills. And needed to pay the bills. Didn't know what I was going to do. Think I need a little more coffee. Oh. Didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had a hell of a lot of bills to pay. And let me tell you, I talk a lot about how money doesn't buy happiness, and it doesn't. But when you got a hell of a lot of bills to pay, and you just left a career, and you only did fairly okay at that career for 17 years, and you're in your 50s, and the world has changed, and you're going, well, what do I do now? There's not always a clear answer for it. Even though you have this little embryonic coffee talk show called Coffee with Ken. So I took a job at a super Target. Well, before I did that, I delivered I was talking to a buddy, and he was saying, hey, a few years back, I delivered packages at UPS for a seasonal job to get some money, and thought that was pretty cool. So I did that. It was pretty cool, but that season ran out and Christmas happened and the money wasn't enough. But it was kind of fun going to work and delivering packages to doors and knowing what you're going to do every day and getting paid, even a little bit of money. I mean, I was only working maybe 20 hours, 25 hours a week at that time for UPS, but at least, I knew I'd get a check every week, and that felt good because I never knew that in real estate. And, but anyway, the new year turned around and my bills were there and my income was not. I'm not totally sure what I was thinking. Maybe I wasn't thinking. Hello, O Fudge. O Fudge says he's a UPS driver. He or she's a UPS driver. Then you know what I'm talking about. I was a driver helper. Coming into Christmas, the season gets real busy. You guys have a ton of packages, and you spend most of your time sorting the packages in the back of the truck, and you hand the package to the driver helper who opens this door, which is like a guillotine, by the way. It's this heavy sliding door, and it shuts like with a bang. You got to be careful with that. And go take the package up to the door and bring it back. That's what I did for a month and a half and kind of enjoyed it, actually. I wore a Christmas hat a couple times as I delivered my packages because I felt like Santa, or a Santa hat. That was kind of fun. Felt good. Felt purposeful. But anyway, that ended. And I'm not even sure. I feel that I'm missing part of the story because right now I'm going, okay, what's going on? What's he, Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know what the answer was. Maybe I hadn't let my license expire or whatever, but it was about to. And let me tell you what, the house of cards came tumbling down quickly. So I took a job at a super Target. I like super Target. I like the store. I like that they have a ton of different merchandise. It's kind of a fun place to be as a shopper. Kind of enjoyed that job, going in every day, working, getting in at 7, leaving at 3. But the pay was $15.50 an hour. I was twice divorced, 4 beautiful kids, a nice car that I was still paying off, and a home that was about $1,800 a month in rent. It was a little tiny home. And you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out that's not going to work out for long. And it didn't. It didn't. And I lost my house, and I eventually would lose my car, and eventually would lose the job going, this isn't working. This isn't working. And you fast forward to this spring, and I'm going, hey, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I need a house. I need a job. I've been a waiter a couple times in my life. And somebody sent me a link to a company called Xanterra that operates national parks, that runs the business side of national parks around the country. And I applied for a job as a server in Yellowstone, or a waiter, and packed up my scooter. I ride a Suzuki Bergman 400 because my car was gone. It was a nice car. It was an Audi A6. I like that car, but it's gone now. I hope somebody's enjoying it right now, because I'm no longer enjoying it. But anyway, packed up my Suzuki Bergman, rode across the country, worked at Yellowstone for 2 months, realized you could make decent money as a waiter. The nice thing about working as a waiter in Yellowstone, because you have the draw that is the national park, and 4.5 million people come through the doors or the gates of that park every year, the restaurant you work at is usually filled with customers, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I was working 40 plus hours a week and making good money and being housed for $500 a month and fed for that same amount. Staying in a dorm felt like a work camp. Not exactly for everybody, but the money was good and the room and board was cheap. So did that. Realized, hey, I can wait at a high level and kind of enjoy it and kind of make some decent money. Let's go do it back in Chicago and get close to my friends and my family and my kids and everything I know and love. That was around August 1st. Rode my scooter back across the country. Checked into an extended stay. Got a job as a waiter, and I've been waiting the last 2 or 3 months since then, just about 3 months now, at a restaurant, fairly nice restaurant in Naperville. Yeah. Good morning, Cater's Cool. Oh. But anyway, so over the last 3 months, I've been working hard. I worked yesterday. I opened the restaurant yesterday. It was a slow day at the restaurant. It was a slow day. Only had 2 or 3 tables the first 4 hours. And it's one thing to struggle financially and not be making any tips while you're there. But for me, what's more challenging is feeling like I need to be going out there hunting. Going in and finding the customer and not waiting for the customer to come to me. And at my restaurant, they don't want us going in and bringing in customers off the street for whatever reason. It's not my restaurant. I don't make the rules. And there was even a point where we had a couple customers coming in and talking to the hostess and turning around and leaving. And I'll promise you, if I was working the host stand, they wouldn't have left the restaurant without ordering something. But it wasn't my job. So I sat there quietly and gritted my teeth as I saw them turn around and leave. Made me wonder as I woke up this morning. Made me wonder what my perfect career path would be. I enjoy the hunt. And waiting for prey to stroll in front of my mouth doesn't seem like a good way to keep food on the table. It's not the way I was trained. It's not the way I think it works. But because of that, the corporate structure of America doesn't seem to work. Because I think if you get hired in a corporation, they want you to do your job. And your job is defined. Your job is defined. Here's what you do. Make sure you do it, but don't do it too well. But couldn't we do it? Do your job. I'm sure that's maybe a misread of society, but that's kind of my experience. That's kind of my experience. A lot of jobs I've had or I've interviewed for, it doesn't seem like they want you knocking the cover off the ball. They want you to do as you're told, no more, no less. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Do it the way we do it. I mean, it's their company. And I get they get to make the rules. But doesn't flow with who I am exactly. And I can't. It's hard for me to sit at a quiet restaurant when I got no tables and watch people come up to the hostess, talk to the hostess, walk around and look at our stuff, and not go up to them with a menu and say, hey, why don't you guys sit down? It's cold outside. Can I get you something to drink? But I didn't do that. I stayed quiet because I felt that's what I was supposed to do. So it was a slow day, and I got let out early because I was the one that opened the restaurant and really didn't make much money. Got home. Think things happen for a reason, and I do believe things happen for a reason. And I have faith and confidence in myself that I can do just about anything and accomplish great things. And got home, tried to make yesterday evening about as productive as possible, and I think I did. And I think I've been stressed and kind of juggling the world and the pressures of the world over the last 56 years. And got some rest. Woke up this morning before 5 o'clock. Was laying there feeling kind of comfortable, enjoying the quiet of my room and the comfort of my bed. And laid there for a while. Realized I'd gone to bed crazy early. Realized I was working at the restaurant again today at 10:45. Thought, what could I do? What could I do at this time? What would be the most productive thing I could do at this time? I could open up my computer. I could meditate. I could send out resumes through Indeed. I could toss and turn in my bed, wonder why I'm not going back to sleep. I could go for a walk. Or I could start my day. And start the coffee. And brew the coffee. And despite the fact that I've had a big audience the last week or so going live between 6 and 6:30, and despite the question, who would tune into my show? Who would be watching my show at 5 in the morning on a Saturday? Would I get an audience? I prayed, and God told me, well, you never know unless you try. Get up, get out of bed, make the coffee, and start your show. So that's what I did. And here I am on a Saturday morning at 5:43 a.m. talking to my phone, drinking my cup of coffee, and I have 118 people watching me. 118. That number grows every day. I edit all these videos. And I'm about a month behind. And they become shorts and reels and TikToks, and I post them all over social media, and some of them do really well, and I've had a video be seen a couple million times. And my lives get seen by a nice audience, and I post this video directly to a different social media platform that pays me a little bit of money for it, and TikTok pays me a little bit of money. And as I was laying in bed, I looked at my last 30-day earnings on TikTok, and I made over $200 on TikTok in the last 30 days. But anyway, I edit these videos, and I'm about 4.5 weeks behind. And 4.5 weeks ago, I was going, hey, we got a nice audience. I have 43 people watching. Today, I'm looking at it, and I got 97 people watching right now. And it's 5:43 in the morning. And I know there's a lot of cynics out there. And there's a lot of people that tell me to, go get a regular job. Or a real job. I tell you, I've interviewed for real jobs. And I'm not sure the future's as bright in a real job as most people think. But I'll tell you what I do believe. The future's really bright for Coffee with Ken. And if you that are watching right now doubt that at all, ask yourself, why are you watching? And if I'm going to sell anything in this world, I better sell something I believe in. And I honestly think I would have to be a fool to not recognize the potential of a guy that is drinking a cup of coffee on a Saturday morning at 5:46 in the morning and has 100 people watching his show. So despite the outside pressures and the slow day at the restaurant and bills that I'm paying and covering financial responsibilities, every time I look at my number of viewers, the number goes up. And every time I look at my number of subscribers on all the social media platforms, that growth goes up. And every time I look at the revenue generated in the previous month, that number goes up. And I made $400 in October on social media by doing this. And yes, $400 does not pay a lot of bills. But 8 months ago, I made $50 on social media. I don't know. I promise you, it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I'm lazy. It's because I'm smart. It's because I'm smart. And I see a business opportunity, the likes I've never seen before. Doing something I love. Saying good morning, drinking a cup of coffee, telling little stories, talking to the audience, editing videos. Hopefully videos that make a difference, that make people feel not so alone or feel okay with their mental health issues or their financial issues or their high and low relationship, spirituality, with life. With life. So I'm going to keep moving forward today. I am going to keep moving forward today. And I'm probably going to sign off here pretty quickly because I've almost been talking an hour. And I'm going to hang out in my room, maybe go for a walk, maybe do some push-ups or some jumping jacks or whatever. And then I'm going to go to work for a restaurant with a boss and an owner whose dreams don't align with mine, are probably at different spots in life and are probably okay with things that maybe I'm not okay with. And it's hard for me to sit in a quiet restaurant waiting for customers to come in. Feels against my nature. Feels against my nature. I love what I do. I really do. I love the people I work with. I love the customers. I had a great time talking to the ladies that came in and sat in my section yesterday. I'm good at it. I'm friendly. I think they enjoyed their meal because of me more. But I don't like waiting and sitting around hoping some wildebeest comes in front of this lion's mouth. Sometimes you got to get up and hunt. Look for the wildebeest. Yeah. But we've had a great audience today. We have had a great audience today. We have had a great audience today. And yeah. Hold on here. I appreciate you guys so much for showing and hopping on today and being a part of my show and following along in my journey and joining me for a cup of coffee on a Saturday morning. Because I appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I'm thankful for you, and I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful week, and I hope you are feeling good, and I hope you are loving yourself, you are forgiving yourself, and as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.